All right, welcome back. Mosaic Day 3, 2025. Marcus Lloyd here with Threaded Colored Commentary. It's exciting to continue to have these conversations. I know we got leaders out there who are just soaking up this information, learning from so many folks who've been coming through on these in these chairs. And so I've got another good one who's coming through. This is a friend. If you've been around Mosaic for a little bit, you've probably run into him. Nirup Alphonse, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good
sir.
to have you back. I know we had you when we did the virtual
right.
conference a couple of years ago, and it was just a good convo, just getting to engage and hear about what was going on with your church. Tell the folks a little bit about the ministry you do right now, just to give us a context.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate being here. Thanks to everyone for watching online and being committed to not just the conversation, but being committed to the ministry of creating kind of church that looks like heaven. So I pastor a part of a leadership team that I pastor in Denver, Colorado, called LIFEGATE Denver. It's an incredible multi-ethnic church, 55 nations represented. I can't even tell you how many languages.
Yeah.
The average age is 25.
Oh, wow.
And it's a large church. I mean, it's a large.
Are you 25? Are you right in that average? Or is it 10 years
I have
on
the
the other
soul
side?
of a 25-year-old.
Oh, is that? Yeah, it's not quite the.
But my knees.
Yeah.
My knees don't let me
The
do
knees,
that anymore.
yeah, they tell the truth.
My knees don't let me. But yeah, we pastor a great church, multi-ethnic. It's young.
Okay.
It's young. And so I think what I would encourage leaders with right now is to know that there's a generation rising up that is longing for, and if you ask them, they would say we're looking for authenticity. And really what they mean is they're looking for beauty. They're looking for something beautiful.
Okay.
And so I think what we're trying to do as a church, and as a church I would encourage leaders, and not just the church, but in your home, in your life, in your vocation, in your place of work, to create a place that is beautiful, a place that truly reflects the values of the kingdom, where Jesus is present, where stories can be heard and heralded. And I think people are longing for that right now. And I think we're longing for that. We're longing for a place where our stories can be shared and heralded, not to have to explain why we think something, but just being brought to a place where, wow, this is a space, a garden, where our stories can be heralded together. And so I think that's what people want to know right now.
Yeah. So practically for you, like, what does that mean? Like, what are the kind of things that demonstrate this beauty that they're looking for?
So I'd say 3 quick practical things. If you're in any position of teaching, whether it's Sunday morning teaching, your volunteer rally, you're teaching Sunday school, you're teaching youth students, whatever you're teaching, you always have to tell stories.
Okay.
Stories are the way you shape culture. And I heard a pastor say this once years ago. I think it was Erwin McManus. He said, whoever tells the better story shapes the culture.
Okay.
And so, and then I love data.
Yeah.
But I'm a millennial. We don't believe anything.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Whenever you go somewhere and the latest statistics,
you're like, I don't believe that.
I don't believe any of that. 80% of that stuff is made up on the spot. I don't even believe that.
That's right. It's made up.
But we're moved by stories. Humans are moved by stories. And so any teaching moment you have, find an opportunity to share a story. Whether it's a 30-second story, a 10-second story, a 2-minute story of what God is doing that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Find the story. And so now if you know you have to tell a story, you're looking for stories. You're looking to craft stories and share stories of what God is doing that's beautiful. That's number one. Secondly, is you can't expect others to do what you yourself are not doing.
Okay.
So whenever I meet pastors and they say, man, how do we have a multi-ethnic church and multi-ethnic fill-in-the-blank ministry? And I'll say, well, do you have a multi-ethnic life?
Yeah.
If your life is not multi-ethnic, what exactly are you trying to replicate?
Yeah.
So begin to experience a multi-ethnic life. Go to restaurants that you would never go to. Invite people into your home that you would normally not engage with, even if they're not believers. So do that, and that'll begin to go downward.
Yeah, and that's a big piece. What you just said there, that I think the church struggles with, is like when you're starting to get out into these spaces that are more multi-ethnic, multicultural. I think what you desire is like, oh, I want to hang out with people who are kind of just like me. I want Christians. But if you're doing multicultural, I mean, you're going to get the opportunity to engage with people who come from different faith backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Right? And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a really wonderful place to stretch your faith out a little bit and even learn a little bit more about how people have engaged the idea of a divine being, if you will, all around the world.
Absolutely. You know, Mahatma Gandhi had a conversation with E. Stanley Jones in 1928. And E. Stanley Jones asked him this question. He says, how do we get Christianity to be naturalized in India, not nationalized? Because the gospel was never meant to be an imposition of morality.
Okay.
It was always meant to be an infiltration of a new reality.
Gotcha. Ooh,
and so we're not trying to impose a way of life.
That's absolutely.
We're trying to infiltrate with the grace of Christ everything. That does transform us from the inside out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Transform it. If a gospel invades a city, the city should look different.
Yeah.
So we know that. So Mahatma Gandhi gives him these 4 answers. And the 4th answer is, learn to be sympathetic to the religious beliefs of others.
Okay.
He didn't say agree with it.
Yeah.
He didn't say celebrate it. Learn to be sympathetic. Learn where they're coming from and enter the conversation. So absolutely, we should be sitting with people of different faiths, not to contend with, well, I believe this and you believe this, but to hear your story. Where does it come from? I'm a person who is far more interested in why someone believes something than what they believe.
Yeah.
Now, why do you believe that about life or faith or marriage or children or fill in the blank?
Yeah, where did that
whatever
come
hot
from?
topic
How did
is.
you come to that?
So I'd say do that in your own life. And then thirdly, really work hard in your ministries to create opportunities and pockets where people are challenged to live in spaces where their stories have to be shared. So one thing that we do at our church is we teach hospitality.
Okay.
And so we encourage people, and we help sign them up, and we help do all these kind of things to say, okay, who are you inviting into your home?
Yeah.
And then it's a simple liturgy. We say, put the phones away, and then everyone gets 2 minutes to share their story.
Okay.
Of undivided attention.
This is how you're training them.
Training them.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's unbelievable to see what God is doing in these little moments of, I've just never sat. I mean, can you think of the number of times you've been invited to someone's home, someone's space, and they just say, hey, tell me your story.
Yeah.
And they're genuinely listening.
Yeah.
No phone. They're not there to interview you. They're not there to just get another story, but they're genuinely listening to you. And we find so much commonality, so much that draws us together, and we realize we actually have far more in common than we do that's not.
That's right.
And those commonalities become the holy space that God begins to work and transform. So I would say just start with those 3 things.
Yeah, and what's interesting about what you're saying is you started off with this idea of good storytelling. And the other 2 create the opportunity for you to tell good stories. Right.
Exactly.
If I'm a leader who's, and this, my experience in the work that I get to do is when I get in front and I'm able to talk about multi-ethnic ministry and whatever, I get to tell stories about friends that are different in what I'm learning. Right. And I know even when we're working with churches sometimes and they're wanting to have a more multicultural space and to do the things that they're wanting to do, they're wanting to do it right away. But one of the things we tell them is like, hey, this process of kind of even potentially, if you can transition your church into the space, it's going to take a few years, because in the first part of it is not going to your congregation and doing a reconciliation message. The first part of it is getting your leaders reoriented to the idea of what this conversation looks like and starting to get them in relationships with people who are different. Then when you go to the church and you start talking about this life of living multi-ethnic, you let these leaders who've been doing it for the last year and a half or 2 years just tell the stories of
what God's doing,
of what God has been doing in their lives over these times when they've intentionally made the move forward.
Absolutely.
And now to your point of the young folks, they're hearing authenticity as opposed to just the stats of what it looks like for somebody to go out and do that.
And find the story of why you do what you do.
Okay, yeah.
So for example,
find your big why.
Yeah, so one of my or why I do something without even knowing it.
Huh, okay.
So one of my favorite stories is this mom is making a pot roast in her home, and she cuts the ends of the pot roast out. She puts it in the oven, and her daughter says, Mom, why do you cut the ends of the pot roast out? She says, I don't know. That's how my mom did it. So she's like, let's call Grandma. So Grandma answers the phone and say, Grandma, why do you cut the ends of the pot roast out? And she says, I don't know why. That's how my mom did it. Let me call my mom. Calls her mom. Great-grandma says, I don't know why either. Let me call my mom. So they call great-great-grandma, and Grandma says, great-great-grandma says, that back in the day, our ovens were so small, we had to cut the ends off. So you have you have something that's been done year after year after year,
right,
but it's attached to a story.
Right. Yeah.
And so now you're saying, well, I don't have to cut the pot roast out.
Yeah.
Because oven sizes have changed. So we're asking questions. Why do we sing songs like this? Why do we preach like this? Why do we do our spiritual formation like this?
Yeah.
Why do we do our discipleship like this? And we never trace back the story.
Yeah.
Most people in America, in Western culture, Western church would say, oh, we do small groups because it's Acts 2.
Sure.
It's not Acts 2.
Okay.
It's a whole story of formation that began in the 1970s with America changing from an agriculture cultural to a now industry to now tech and medical, and all these things are changing in America. And there was a type of formation that began. Well, they were so good at branding it, they convinced you that it was Acts 2 when it wasn't Acts 2. Nobody's against fellowship. We need fellowship.
Right.
Of course, the Bible talks about koinonia. But ask yourself, why are we doing it this way?
Yeah.
And go back to the story and say, okay, maybe we do need to change. Maybe it's fine and you keep doing it. That's fine. But at least know why you do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just don't think most people are tracing back the story.
Why do you think that is?
Comfortability.
Okay. What do you when you say comfortability? Like what are they getting comfortable in?
The way it's done.
Okay.
Because if I know I plug in this and the outcome is this,
Gotcha.
I'm comfortable with that.
Gotcha. Okay.
I would say the semblance of success. Well, it's successful. We're winning games.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing all right.
Right. Based on the scorecard that they've created to continue.
Yeah,
the
why should I keep
comfortability.
changing it?
Yeah.
Or just a lack of imagination.
Okay.
You know, I tell our staff all the time, listen, the greatest threat to innovation is success. When you feel like you're successful,
Right.
why change? But you know, one of my favorite movies in the world is called Glory Road.
Yeah, sure.
So my sons who love basketball don't know a world that exists that doesn't look like the current NBA or college,
Yeah, sure.
where the predominant athletes are African American.
Right.
They don't know a world that exists. But I love the movie Glory Road because up until that point in history, most colleges maybe had one black athlete, who was never getting in the game, sat at the end of the bench, right? And this coach from Texas Western recruits 7, and he brings Bobby Hill in. There's this critical scene in the movie where he brings in Bobby Hill, and Bobby Hill, they're playing against Iowa and they're losing, and Bobby Hill says, "Why did you bring us here? If you wanted us to play your game, why did you bring us here?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Fine." Coach says, "Fine. Offense my way, defense your way." And they go on to win 7 black kids. First time ever, a starting 5 are black. And they beat Kentucky. All 5 white dudes. You know, Pat Riley's on the team. They beat that team. Well, that one story has changed the way the basketball's played. It's changed the way recruiting's done. It's changed the way the game is played. I mean, all of it's changed. One story. And so many of us and now you would think like, oh, this is the way the basketball's always been, right?
Yeah.
My kids would think that's the way it's always been. Like, no, it's not always been like that. And bringing them back to the story of innovation, of change. The goal here is to keep getting better and to win and to execute.
Yeah.
And I think too many leaders and too many churches are just too safe with, we're doing fine. This is okay.
Well,
why ruffle it? Why? I just think a lot of pastors lack imagination.
Well, and to your point, like, Sunday's coming.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I feel like whatever I'm doing is successful. So it really starts with just like sitting down with humility and a recognition of like, whatever you're doing can be better. What would it look like?
It could be rich. It could be rich. It could be beautiful. You know.
Yeah. And is it and to the point that we talk about a lot too is like, if we understand what the mission of God is, how well is your church aligning with that, right? Like how do the people in your church and outside of your church, if they understand what the mission of God is, can they look and go, man, you're nailing that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody can do that. And even if they say you're nailing it, you're going, you know, we're working at it, but we've always got more that we can kind of do, and not in the kind of like doing capitalism, American workaholic, you know what I mean? But like learning, going deeper. That's probably a better way to say it.
Because you're trying to create something that's beautiful, and I think you have to constantly challenge yourself and others to see the beauty of the uncomfortability.
Yeah.
And you never grow if you're not comfortable.
That's right.
In any
there's nothing.
anything.
There's nothing that,
you know. So when I tell people, man, so when other pastors visit us, because our normal service is about an hour and 25.
Yeah.
And I hear the same thing all the time. I hear, how is it possible that you guys do so much in an hour 25?
Okay.
So we open up our service with a typical, a lot of times gospel song that's expressive and, just praise.
Yeah.
We love it. But then we always go into a collective prayer where we read a call to worship. We read Psalm 96 together out loud.
Every time?
Every time.
Okay.
And then we do a call and response liturgy. A person who's leading says something, the people respond.
Yep.
We always do the Gloria Patri. We always do the doxology. We do communion every Sunday. We recite scriptures in different languages.
Already, I'm trying to figure out how you got it done in an hour and 25.
We preach hard for 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
We have prayer responses all the time. And most people would think, man, there's no way young adults are going to come to a church that does, more traditional Anglican call and response. Here's what's interesting.
That's what they want right now.
They don't even know they don't know.
They're not connected enough to the church to know
this is 600 years old.
Yeah,
For them, it's, wow, this is fresh and this is new.
Yeah.
We sing a hymn every Sunday.
Yeah.
And this kid asked me one time, he said, when did that song come out? Like 200 years ago. Man. Come Thou Fount's been out for a minute.
That's right.
For them, it feels new.
Yeah,
it feels authentic. It feels beautiful. And our church is packed with young adults. Because what they're looking for is something that's beautiful that they can't find at the bar down the street, where they can't find at a game down the street, where they can't find on Netflix or Hulu or Spotify or whatever. And so we're offering them an alternative to the world.
Yeah.
That's still engaging the world and not trying to escape from it. But you just can't do that you just cannot do that if you're uncomfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Are there any places that you would say, we love what God is doing. Here's what we're working on. Like, here's the places that I think we still need to continue to have some innovation, imagination on. Anything?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing is, how do we get care for those in the city to be realized in the individual and not just institutionalized or organizationally.
And you're talking specifically for LifeGate.
For our church.
Right. Like, say that again. Like,
so we do a lot of good work in the city, supporting other ministries.
Right.
And caring
but
for other ministries.
Where it says, hey, look what LifeGate Church, but you're wanting the individual members inside.
It's organized. It's institutional.
Yeah.
It's not individualized yet.
Yeah, it's not embodied where this is kind of what they're going to go do.
I mean, I have a passion to reach those who are, considering having an abortion. I want to go. I have a passion, and I want to go minister to those who are in foster care. And I want to go. So being able to, hey, we need to be for the benefit of the city.
Yeah.
And because Colorado and Denver is so transient.
Okay.
People move to Denver.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're naming Austin, D.C., L.A. There's so many cities in America.
Yeah.
It's not unique to Denver.
Yeah, yeah. I just didn't know that about Denver. Yeah.
It's so transient that people will come to the city and they will reap all of its benefits with never actually contributing to the Jeremiah vision of make the city better because you're here.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I think you can live in a place like Dallas or Houston or Nashville. Like, I've been there for 40 years.
Right.
And you've been there for so long.
Yeah.
You actually don't know the issues of the city. It's almost like you live in a house for a long time.
Yeah.
And I walk in your house, I'm like,
what's that smell?
What's that smell?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
what smell?
I've been here this whole time.
Yeah.
You're so indoctrinated into, I think it's fine. Everything's okay.
Right.
That you no longer have the eyes to see. So both of those types of people are living in a city, reaping its benefits without truly thinking about how do I contribute to this street, to this neighborhood, to this place of work, of what God is doing, and how do I join that story of what God is doing and contributing to it. So I think we still really struggle with that.
Sure.
And we're trying to find how do we engage people to do that. But that means I have to engage it.
Yeah.
I can't just say,
got to model it.
I can't just say, hey, you guys should go and serve the poor, and you guys should go help for these people, and you guys should go do this. Oh, me? Oh, no. I just write sermons on Sundays.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't do that. I have to obviously figure out how to do that in a way that's passionate to us. For me, I love cooking. It doesn't look like I eat much.
It doesn't look like that at all.
I love cooking. I got this pizza maker.
Okay.
Uni pizza maker. Uni sponsoring us right now.
Oh, God. Check them out online.
And so my son. So my sons. It's bad. I bought so much Uni stuff. I'm at Williams-Sonoma selling it for them. I'm like, oh, you don't want this model. You don't want this model. You want this model over here. And my oldest son is 14. He said, Dad, can we just go make some dough, get pizza, get boxes, and let's go downtown and find where people don't have food, and let's just make them pizza. And so here's my 14-year-old who has a vision for what God can do in the kingdom. Mm-hmm. And so I need to join him in that story versus saying like, man, that's a bad idea. I don't know if there's any food laws we got to get behind. We got to do this. How do I use this thing that I love doing, cooking, and saying, well, how do I contribute to the needs of others?
Sure.
And do that to invite my children into it. So I think I'm trying to do that on my own too.
Yeah. And what I love about the possibility of the passion that your son is articulating is he doesn't have to go do that on his own. There are groups that are doing that, right? So that's part of where I think helping people in the church, because what you're talking about is a discipleship thing, right? It's a growth of getting out of I love when I was an outreach pastor and I get up and I would go, okay, here's what we did this weekend for the city. And I would just be upset because I was like, none of these people did any of this stuff. Like these 20 people did that, but the rest of you are just kind of going, yeah, look what our church did. It's like, I would love for you to actually be able to say, look what we did, or look what I did in the midst of that as a member of this church. And so that's a discipleship issue of just trying to see people as the discipleship is not just what you do inside the church, it's what you do outside the church. You can do it collectively, but you want to tap into that deep passion that God has put inside of you to go and engage and be a part of the story. And to the point that you were saying with your son, it's like, and there are other people, you don't have to go out there and just do it alone. There are other people who God has already put out there who are doing it, and you get to join the work that they're doing.
Exactly. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No, you don't have to worry about food laws because there's food people who have actually gotten through all that, and they have the food feeding that they do regularly. Exactly. Bring your energy. Exactly. Maybe your innovation of, hey, we just didn't know how to do the pizza. Well, come on, we'll do the pizza, and you help us with the distribution, which you already have the functionality for.
Exactly.
Right. So I think that's really a wonderful thing.
And I think it's right. It's a discipleship issue. It's not just unique to church. It's kind of for example, there's two kinds of kids that go to basketball summer camp.
Okay.
The kid whose parents force him to go.
Yeah.
Like, you need to do something this week.
Yeah, that's right.
Go to basketball camp, go. But he's not obsessed with it. Mm-mm. And no summer, I've never been to a summer camp. I take my kids to summer basketball camp.
Yeah.
I've never been to one summer camp where the summer camp coach is like, all right, guys, this week, after this, I'm going to put you in leagues. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. His assumption is you're either passionate about this or you're not.
Okay.
And if you are, you'll go figure it out. So my 10-year-old loves basketball. And I try to get him into basketball as a kid, never really into it. We'd go to Nuggets games, things like that. He would go. He just had fun.
Sure.
But I took him to game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. I wanted him to, at least once in his life, see LeBron, the second greatest player of all time. I wanted him to at least see that.
Were you trying to bait me on that? I felt like you were trying to bait me to see what you were going to get. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it right now.
So at this game, he just has what I would call a conversion experience.
Oh.
And he just became solely focused, and he loves basketball. So the next day, he says, Dad, can you wake me up to play basketball with me? Can you do this? And I told him, I was like, if you wake up, I will meet you outside in the park, in the driveway, and I'll hoop with you. But you got to wake up.
Yeah.
So everything he does for basketball, going to the park, going to leagues, doing all these stuff, that's his singular obsession. Now, of course, there's some identity things we're working on him with, but take that as a parallel.
Yeah.
If you get people in your church that their singular obsession is for the kingdom of God, to reach people for Christ, then as a pastor, like, man, give me these people. Yeah. All I got to do, you meet me outside, I'll give you everything you need. But it's difficult when you're trying to, come on, church, we're trying to do this, and come on, church, we're trying to do this, and you got the same 20 people doing it. So it is a discipleship issue.
Right.
But I think it's a human issue.
That's right.
Where people will do the thing they want to do. And only the Lord can break that in them.
Yeah.
Only the Spirit of God can enter into them and give them a vision for what God wants to do. And so what we preach is, and what we're all trying to preach is, hey, listen, we have one life that we will have to give an account for.
Right.
And I will not have to give an account for your life, and you won't have to give an account for my life. We'll have to give an account for our life and what we did for God and the things of God, not in order to be saved, but because we are saved.
Yeah.
We are sent as lights into the world. And so let's do this. Let's rally. Let's do this. Let's keep going. Because God sent us to the city.
That's right.
And God is creating a new humanity, and we want to be a part of that vision. So ministry would be great if you didn't have to deal with people.
Yeah, that's what they always
fantastic.
say. Yeah.
But what also makes ministry great is the people.
Is the people, right?
So
it's actually what makes ministry.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And I always think, the Lord is, I always remind people, I remind myself, like, listen, Jesus is not in heaven saying, man, I'm really glad I got Mosaics on my team. I'm really glad I got these pastors here because, they could be doing anything. Like, Jesus is not limited in his options.
Yeah.
He chooses us because he's so gracious in his invitation to sit with him, to say, hey, I'm doing this.
Right.
I'm going to go reach lost people. You want to go with me?
That's right.
I'm going to go reach broken people. You want to go with me?
Right.
I'm going to go feed the poor. You want to go with me?
Right.
I'm going to work in justice and reconciliation. You want to go with me?
Right.
And so we're just going with God.
Right.
As he's doing those things.
Yeah.
And learning how to walk with them.
That's
So
good.
I'm with you. I think it's 100% a discipleship issue.
But it's a model, and I think that's the thing as we kind of wrap up with the leaders too, is what you said is Jesus invited them to go with it. I would wonder, what does that look like for a pastor or a leader too? Again, the modeling that you talked about, hey, I got to do this differently. The pastor's got to do it. It's got to tell your own story. There's something about just us, the leader, going and doing the thing that we're passionate about and inviting people to come with us. That's right. Intoxicating for others to see, but also motivating. You know what I mean?
And I think you're right. Whatever I'm doing, I want to invite you to go with me. And then just create the pathways for that. For example, we had these students share on Student Takeover Sunday, and they're just sharing their testimony. And you can tell every one of these students some of them are 7th graders, some boys, girls, high schoolers, and you could tell that the ones that shared, there is an anointing on them. And so as the pastor, I'm looking at these students, and what I can't say is, well, maybe when they're 35,
right? Yeah, yeah.
I'll
invest.
I'll teach them.
They'll be leaders at some point. Yeah.
So now I'm working with our youth pastor, and I'm thinking, man, how do we create a preaching track, where I can, over the next 5, 6, 7 years, say, I'm going to invest in you, teach you how to preach, teach you how to communicate.
Yeah. Give you
anywhere
spots.
From announcements to leading communion, leading baptism, sharing testimonies, preaching a sermon, and when I'm going to create this. Now, I don't have the particular space right now where I can invite them to study with me as I'm studying.
Yeah.
But I can create time in my schedule and say, hey, once a month, we're going to meet. And I'm going to walk you through my process. I'm going to give you assignments. You're going to do this. I'm going to create safe spaces where they can fail.
Yeah.
Because they will fail.
Of course.
They will fail.
We do, right? Even in spaces like this.
Yeah,
right?
we need the space to say, hey, you can fail well.
Yeah.
It's a learning environment. It's a growing environment. But I can't look back and then say, well, I just didn't have the time, Lord. I was really busy. I was really busy.
So much investment.
I think we overestimate our importance.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so how do we create across every ministry, man, I'm doing this. How do you, I met with a woman yesterday at the conference, and she said, I love how you talk about hospitality. I'm not that great of a cook. I don't think people will come over. I'm like, well, what can you cook? And she said, I can make Filipino egg rolls. I'm like, listen,
delicious.
Let me know what time.
Yeah, like what time I'm in, right?
But I challenged her and I encouraged her, and I just said, hey, what if it's less about you making food to invite them to come eat it?
Yeah.
What if you just texted, emailed, called 6, 7, 8 young women in the church and said, hey, I'd love to teach you how to make Filipino egg rolls.
Yeah.
I bet they would want to learn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so you're just teaching them over a meal.
Yeah, something you know how to do.
Yes. What do you know how to do? What do you know how to do?
That's right. Yeah.
Teach them. You know how to fix a tire? You know how many young men don't know how to fix a tire?
That's right.
Teach them how to fix a tire. Teach them how to tie a tie. Teach them how to just whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Teach them how to do it.
I love it.
And I think it's just one-on-one. And lastly, I would say this as we're closing up. I know we live in a world of podcasts and influence and preaching and books and all that. I agree with Henry now, and I think the future of the church and the future leader just learns how to live a quiet and humble life with God.
Sure.
And invite others into that life. And I don't think you need to have a podcast or a sermon or a book or a movie or a song. I don't think you need any of that unless that's what the Lord has you do.
Sure.
I think you're asking, how do I live a quiet, simple life with the Lord?
Yep.
Invite others into it.
That's it.
And create the kind of life that's beautiful. I want a beautiful life,
There you go.
And I think a beautiful life has to include different colors. It has to include different voices.
Yeah,
it
that's
has
how
to
you get beauty. That's why God used different colors to create beauty for us as well. Yeah.
And I'll end with this. And what do you need? What do you need to see beauty? Light. You cannot see the greatest work of art without light.
That's good.
So as we all gather together, we're praying, Jesus come, John 8:12, bring your light here, that the light of life would be seen. And it's your light that makes this beautiful, that makes it visible. And so that's what we're praying for. That's what we're doing. I think it's fun. I think if you're not having fun in ministry, you really need to ask the Lord, like, Lord, what's happening in my soul that this is not fun? Yeah. This should be a lot of fun. I mean, tough at times, but still fun.
Yeah, yeah. So, man, that's good. Nirup, thank you so much.
Appreciate
I think so many great stuff, so many great nuggets to take away in the midst of that, and we'll continue to just pray for the work that God is doing over there.
Come visit us in Denver, man. Come visit us. Come hang out anytime. I won't take you outdoors, but somebody will.
You're not that cat. I love it. I love it. Well, we'll sit and just watch some basketball.
We'll do that, man. We'll go to some Nuggets games. It'll be fun.
I love it. I love it, man. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Last question. Who's the GOAT?
It's Jordan.
Let's
bro.
go.
Like, it's not even a question.
This podcast, this episode has been anointed.
That's right. That's right. Finally, a Christian podcast.
Yeah, finally we get some truth around here.